Hello everyone, this is Nagarajan. As I mentioned in the last video, today we are going to see about data provider to pass data to the test. So before we begin with, let's jump into the previous file. Okay, this is the create issue page test part 2 file. Let me show you how we have done. Okay, bag icon looks broken. Okay, so with this hard-coded value, we can create only one bug, right? What if I want to create n number of bugs? So let's have a test Excel file. In that, I just wanted to give n number of bugs, and that should be a dynamic value. Here, if you could see here in the left pane, right? So I'll show you the test data file. 5 bugs I've mentioned here. So this is the test data file which are being placed inside this particular source folder, src test resources. Okay, so this is the test case name. Verify issue test is the test case name. That under this we have two column names, run mode and issue summary. These are all the bugs that we are going to create, and issue details is the sheet name, right? So here if it, I've mentioned here y value inside this particular run mode. So this determines the number of rows to be processed to the test. For example, if I mention this as n, I just wanted to exclude these two rows. If I mention it as y, then all these rows gets executed. This gets processed to the test. Okay, so this is all about the test data. With this, we can pass n number of test data combination to the test. Okay, let's go back to our test file. See, this is the previous file. Today we are going to see about the data provider usage. Okay, the create issue page test part 3, right? If you could see here, I've used data provider. Okay, this is the test-ng annotations. Okay, and get issue details is the method name, two-dimensional object array. Okay, before we jump into this particular common utility at get data, I would like to show you the data provider usage. See, as I said, this is the method name, right? So data provider method name. Let me go back, scroll down to the test at test. Here, if you could see, get issue details. I've just mentioned the data provider name here. That's all. Okay, so we have the definition of this data provider here. The name of the data provider is being mentioned here, right? And if you could see here, let me remove all these things. It doesn't require. Okay, string issue summary is the only column that we are referring from the Excel file. So in this test data file I showed you earlier, right? It has only one or two columns, run mode and the issue summary. The issue summary is the actual bugs, right? So that is the only parameter that I've mentioned here. So that is being passed inside this particular send keys. Okay, so dynamically it is going to create a bug. Fine. Now let's go back to common utility.get data. How things are getting the data. Okay, this method is somehow fetching the data from the Excel, right? So let's see that. Okay, let's into this particular get data method. So this is the method name, and this has the return type of object, two-dimensional object array, right? And this takes 3 parameters, right? This is a test case and file reader XLS and sheet name. So test case name. Okay, let me show you again this part. If you could see, if you could keenly watch this particular thing, right, you will come to know. Okay, let me close all this thing and I'll show you one by one. Okay. Okay, so this takes 3 parameters, as I said. So get data takes, this is the test case name, this is the path of the Excel file. So where we placed inside this particular SRC test resources, right? So that is what being mentioned here. And issue details is the sheet name. So this is the test case name I'm saying. I'm referring here, and this is the sheet name. Okay, and the path is defined inside this particular value. So you could see here the file reader test data, right? So inside this constructor we have given the definition of the path, right? Okay, let's go back to that get data itself. I'm going to slowly deep dive into this logic so that you'll get more clear idea on it. Otherwise, you'll get confused. So this is a very good concept, how to hydrate the data from the Excel, right? So deep dive slowly. Okay. Now, see, we have the test case name and the file path and the sheet name, right? So first condition we are checking, uh, we're fetching the exact row count of the sheet. Okay, if the row count is correct, it is going to fetch the count of the sheet. Now let me go into this particular method. This method is being written inside file reader class. Okay, it tries to get the sheet name, and then it is getting the index of it. If the index is correct, then it goes here. If the index is index is -1, it returns 0. Okay, so that is what being written over there. Now if the sheet name row count is 0, it comes here, otherwise it proceeds here. Okay, now we have the correct sheet name. Assume that so we have given the correct issue details is the correct sheet name, right? Okay, so that is being passed here. Now the condition works here, and then we are coming here. So these are all the variable declarations here. We'll come to that point later. Now we have the for loop, right? It tries to iterate over the rows and checks whether the test case is correct or not. If the test case is valid, it comes here. Otherwise, it goes here. Test case means I'm referring this verify issue test. Okay, that is all about that. And it comes here. It is trying to fetch this while loop, right? It is trying to fetch the total number of columns for which the data is present. I'll show you one by one. So this for loop, right, it starts with row number 0. Okay, that is being assigned to this case start row number 0. Okay, so if the test case is valid, it is coming here. The test case start row number is 0. Right now, here if you could see, int column start row number equal to test case start row number plus 1. Right, so this 0 where previously we had this value 0, right? 0 plus 1 1. So in this particular getCell data, sheet name, the calls, we have defined it here, and calls total start row number value 0 plus 1 1. Okay, it checks whether it is not null, then we are getting all the total number of columns. So that is being assigned over here. And then now we are fetching the total number of rows, like as we did in the columns, right? Rows. And then we are initializing the object array. Here if you could see this count plus plus, right? So this is to mention this object array, how many rows it has to store the data. So for that we are creating an initialization for an object array. So that is done. And then coming here, here we have the for loop. It iterates over the exact rows and columns, this particular thing, and it tries to fetch the exact cell data based on this run mode. As I showed you earlier, one second. If run value is y, it tries to fetch the exact cell data of that particular thing. Okay, and then that exact cell value gets assigned to this particular object array, and then it's being written over here. Okay, so that's how we have learned how this particular object two-dimensional array reads the data from the Excel in the form of rows and columns. So, and that is being passed over here. I think we have clearly talked about this. Now, okay, let me get into the test execution part so that you'll visualize the test execution. So this is the test2.xml file, right? So let me run it. Let's see here. Let me trigger this particular file. Now the test execution is started. It is trying to log in into Atlassian account. As we had seen it earlier, right? It tries to log into Atlassian account and clicks on QA automation project. And it gets to the issue page and it is trying to create a number of bugs from the test data Excel file. So in the Excel file, we have defined 5 bugs, right? Now it is going to create one by one. So now it has created shopping bag icon looks broken bug. Now it is creating product price. It goes one by one. So if we want to have want to create 100 bugs also, we can create it by placing the all those bugs inside that test data file, and we can use that. Okay. So it is creating a fourth bug, and it is creating a final one. Once it is done, then it is trying to validate the bugs are created on a search issue page. So all the 5 bugs, right, which it created, right, it is verifying, and again it tries to create validate those bugs are being shown correctly on reported by me page. See, in the left pane you could see reported by me, right? So that is also being validated. Okay, let it validate. I think the validation is done. The overall execution is done. Let me refresh the report folder. So you could see here the report got generated, right? Let me open up this particular file. You could see all the test cases are being passed, right? So all these bugs have been created and validated. Okay, so we're done with the execution part. It's nicely generated the report as well. Now I'm going to talk about an interesting thing. If you would have noticed clearly, right? Let me show you that also. Issue create. See here, we have specified only one column, right? Issue summary. What happens, right? If I want to have, if I want to create more than one column, for example, if I want to have a description, severity, and priority, something like this. Okay, in such a situation, right, we are supposed to mention all these parameter inside this particular uh, method. Like you'll have to mention like something like this. Okay, priority, severity, something like that. So in the next session, we are going to see how to avoid specifying these parameters, n number of parameters here, and we should have only one parameter. That parameter should act as a dynamic value to fetch the Excel columns dynamically. So we'll see that in the next session. That is going to be an interesting thing. Thank you so much for watching the video. See you soon in the next session. Take care.